guys, Annie here. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another speed build. Today we're in the world of San Sequoia. We don't stay here, we actually do move to Newcrest, but for now we are in San Sequoia and we are building a 3x1 family home in kind of like, I guess, semi-modern style, semi-traditional. Just this home, I really just use a bunch of assets that I really like to use. And this was just one of those builds where I had designed the floor plan on grid paper, but I furnished it in just the way that I really liked. So I used all the things that I really enjoyed to use. And yeah, it's just like a very basic single floored family home. And these are some of my favorites. When I look back on the channel at some of the builds I've done in the past, these are the best homes to play in because your sim doesn't have to walk very far to get to where it needs to go. So how I've designed the floor plan is that all of the bedrooms are to the right side of the build and the entire left side is your living area. So you walk into a small little entry hallway that then wraps around into your living, kitchen and dining. And then from the dining you also have the main bathroom, which is a larger size bathroom, which is good because there's only one in the house. And then there is a study. If you wanted to, you could like change the floor plan and make this a 3x2, or you could make this a 4x2 if you wanted to. It's definitely a home that can be expanded upon. The reason I moved from San Sequoia to Newcrest was I felt that I needed a bigger lot. This particular lot here is a 30x20 and it just wasn't going to have a backyard. It was going to have a side yard, but the side yard was going to be a little bit limited. You'll see shortly when I put up the fencing for the side yard, I decided to move it to a lot in Newcrest or Willow Creek. Oh, actually, no, sorry. I move it to Willow Creek. I move it to the lot that is, I think it's is it Brook Bungalow? It's in the same neighborhood as where the Pancakes family is. And I move it to that lot. And this then has a backyard as opposed to this very small side yard that you're seeing here. The main exterior of the build does stay the same. So I've gone in with some, you'll see it in a minute, I do choose the final coloring. It's like a kind of a pale green and it's a base game wallpaper. And I pair that with the growing together columns and fences. And yeah, it's just a very simple family home, but I really like the floor plan. We use a lot of Aventura weights. We use a little bit of, I'm trying to think of what we use. I think we use base game actually for the, we use base game for the kitchen and whatnot. And yeah, these windows here, these modern-esque windows, these are from base game. And what I really liked about these windows is they had a swatch where like the actual window sill part is green and it really complemented the exterior of the home while still having a white border frame, I guess, window frame, I don't know, to kind of match the you know, roof trim and whatnot. So yeah, at this stage we are mapping out the landscaping. We will do all of that now that we have moved to Willow Creek. So yes, this is definitely Willow Creek. So yeah, sometimes that happens when you build something, you just need a bigger lot. Happens to me all the time because I always underestimate the size of the build that I'm building. So in order to not really change much of the original shell of the building, because I had already done the roof, I decided to do a wraparound porch because I still wanted to keep the front of the build the same, and I still really liked that sliding door to the side that was from the original floor plan. So I just did a wraparound porch so that, you know, the Sims will still exit out of there, and so that they don't have to go down and go through a gate, they can just walk around the porch to the back of the house. So I thought that was a genius way to kind of not have to make too many changes. I did struggle about how I wanted to lay out this backyard. I decided to use a curved pool. It's just a basic size curved pool. It's not, I haven't really dabbled much with this tool and learnt how to do those really obscure kind of kidney shaped pools. I think that'd be awesome because that's realistic to me. I see a lot of those type of pools where I live, and I think if you did a lot of like modern homes, or if you did like a resort, you know, you would see some really obscure shaped pools. So yeah, I might have to look into that. All right, so how I've laid it out is you've got the pool, you've got a fence that kind of separates the pool area to this other kind of grassed play area. I've put in some play equipment. This comes from Base Games and Business and Hobbies with the swing set. And I'm just doing the kind of entertainment area that I would usually do. So it's got the grill, it's got a table, this this dining set comes from Backyard Stuff. It's really colourful, and that kind of sets the tone of using a lot of green in this build. I think it's because the exterior is green. So we've got a green kitchen, dining set. I also use a green floaty, and I decided to put in a slide. The slide is really up against the fence, but it's still functional. So I think that it works. I just love the new slides that we got in with Adventure Awaits. I think they just offer like some really good gameplay. We put in a green floaty whale looking thing. And yeah, okay, so I'm just starting with the landscaping. So usually with my landscaping, I map it out. I then start with the trees, and then I go to shrubs, and then I fill in all the blanks with flowers. It's generally how I landscape. I am not the best at landscaping. It's not where my skills shine, but I think I do enough that you can kind of get the gist of the house. I did something really special with this build, which you may have seen from the thumbnail, where I use these beautiful trellis items that have these pink flowers. They actually come from Get Together expansion pack, and they layered beautifully alongside the green wallpaper. So like pink and green just seem to go really well together. And I have used a pop of yellow, just, just because then again, pink and yellow goes well. And then, so all of the landscaping is pink and yellow and green. And I think it works well, but definitely adding these trellis items onto the exterior of the build really lifted the build. And I don't normally use a lot of wall decor, and I think I'm going to start because it really does take your builds to the next level, because this particular shell I've probably built 1,000 times. I feel like I am getting to the point with a little bit with my floor plans where they are a little same. So you'll have to let me know in the comment section down below, do you enjoy my floor plans, my builds, and are they starting to look a little repetitive, if you're a returning viewer? And yeah, and anyone who's new here, welcome to the channel. My name is Ada. I do build family homes. I build in The Sims 4. I build all sorts of stuff. And yeah, I would love to have you here with us. So please consider subscribing, leave me a comment. Tell me what you like about this build. Tell me what you like to do in The Sims 4. Do you play? Do you build? Do you, create families and households and whatnot? I would love to hear from you. All right, so these are those pink trellises that come from the Get Together expansion pack, and they just kind of complete the exterior for me. All right, moving inside. So this is the main wallpaper. It's just a base game wallpaper. I wanted something, I don't know. I didn't want something that was too modern, but I didn't want something that would date the space too much. So I just went with a plain kind of wallpaper. Sometimes in The Sims, like a plain white wall is it just doesn't sit right. It's interesting how in real life, we would have beige or white walls, and that would, be deemed very modern and very clean. Something about it in The Sims just doesn't sit right with me. So I've gone with the white with the paneling. I've just gone and put all the wallpaper into the children's rooms. So in this particular build, we have I think it's a teenager, a child sim, and then a master bedroom. The master bedroom is towards the back of the house. It's that purple room that's behind the kitchen. And yeah, it's just a great floor plan. I just really love it. So this is the kitchen. It's kind of in like a U shape, and the islands are faced towards the dining room. And the reason I did that is I didn't want to close off from the living room. I wanted it to flow. So when you look at the front of the house, the space flows. So you wrap around the space and then you access the other, kind of living spaces like the study and the bathroom. The bathroom, I could have put the door facing another direction, but I decided to leave it how it is. But I just really love this space. It's a huge kind of living area. It is the majority of the house, but I do think if you were having parties or just like even like a dinner party, there's tons of space for your Sims to walk around and do things. And I think when you play The Sims 4, that's really important. So I did think about that in terms of this, but this is a very much an open living space. But it is also, I guess, closed. Like if you look at it's closed off from the bedrooms. So the only reason you would go down to the right side of the build is if you were going to the bedrooms. Everything else is in this open area. And I really like that. It's kind of cool. All right, so I have actually used the table that comes from Wedding Stories along with the chairs that come from Wedding Stories. It is one of my favorite tables. There's something about it that's kind of rustic but elegant, and I really like it. And I think that's a really good way to describe Wedding Stories as a game pack in terms of their, asset and furniture design. It's really lovely. Along with the green theme, we have used those Seasons couches. Now, these are very bright because a lot of the assets and the swatches we got in earlier packs for The Sims 4 did have some really eccentric, bright, maximalist type colors, but I kind of like it. It's kind of fitting that modern theme. So I went with it. I paired it with the flowered TV that's also a photo that came from, I think it's the Modern Luxe kit, which is where I usually get the curtains that I use. These curtains are from Eco Lifestyle. They're the Billionaire's hand-me-down curtains that I love just because they're a beige. The beige really pairs well with a lot of the wood tones that I'm using. And there's that accent of gold. And a lot of the things I've used have got gold in them. And yeah, I just really love the space. I put in room for a pet. Normally I've been putting room for a cat. So this time I did a dog. I put a beautiful large pet bed that has like a patchwork print on it, which is also green. So use a lot of green in this house. One thing I've used a lot in this particular build that I haven't normally used is I've used all of the pressed nature press flowered prints that came from Enchanted by Nature. I really like these. There's something very simplistic about them, and I find them really useful in bedrooms. So there are some that have like purples and pinks, and when I'm doing like a feminine room that has that color scheme, which we do in this particular build, the master bedroom, using like a print from that pack really helped because it just pairs well. Like it was complementary. So I really enjoyed that. For the bar stools, we use the ones from Adventure Awaits. I love the color of them. I don't like the chair. It's a very worn wood and I feel like it doesn't really suit, but I couldn't get past the swatch of green and like how well it paired with the rest of the space. So I decided to go with it. Not entirely happy with the choice, but sometimes the aesthetic wins out. All right, so we are in the main bathroom, again, green. This is more of a tealish blue. So we do use a lot of blues and greens and yellows and whatnot. I've used that mirror again from Adventure Awaits that I really like. It's gold, and that kind of complements all the gold kind of accents you're seeing in and around the house. All right, so this is the office. It's a small space. We've put in an easel. I've also put in a ton of like junk items, I guess. So I put in some boxes. I've used a really old-fashioned desk, and the desk and the chair come from Life and Death, and they are beautiful, beautiful items. But I've paired it with some more modern pieces as well. The plant is modern, that comes from Dine Out. The computers from City Living, that's very modern. And even the lamp. So the lamp, I think, comes from the Comfy Kish kit. Cozy Kish, something. It's a kit. It was one of those creator kits. It's beautiful. This rug and that chair paired perfectly. That kind of burnt rust brown color just went so well together. So I've included that. And we are now just like outside briefly doing the porches. I've put in a gaming table. That one comes from Get Together with the chairs that are the same from the dining table. We've used the armchair version of the Seasons couches that we used in the living room. And I like to do that. I like to, because it makes sense that in real life you'd potentially buy a set of something, or you might have multiples of something. So I kind of like to, use the teardrop tool when I'm decorating quite a lot, or when I'm building in general. Okay. This is the main kind of hallway that is just between all of the bedrooms. I've said it before, the Adventure Awaits small rugs are amazing. They are just my favorite hallway rugs at the moment, entryway rugs. I think that they're really versatile and the swatches are quite usable. Even though that pack has a very, cabin-like feel to it, they're actually very versatile swatches. All right, we are in the master bedroom. I started with the bed that comes from Growing Together, which is a little bit more of a modern bed, but it had some beautiful purple tones and red. And I've used the ottoman that comes from Life and Death because it's like a perfect shade of red to match the bed. This Chase lounge chair comes from Lovestruck with a little tiny foot ottoman that comes from Cats and Dogs. The lamp comes from Cats and Dogs. Dresser comes from For Rent. And that beautiful rug, I've said it before, Lovestruck, it just has the best color tones, and that obviously matches the purple that's in the bed, the purple on that lounge, because that's obviously from the same pack. I've gone in with some more of those nature press prints, and it's just a really pretty room. It's definitely more on the moodier side. And then we move into this child's room, which, as you can see, it's very similar. Blue, not similar. It's very similar to what I would normally decorate. Blue kind of sports theme. Maybe they're into scouts. I put in a school project just on the ground just because I had room for it. An imaginary friend, because I'm not sure if you guys played with them. I don't really play The Sims all that much. I think that I should start, because I think that I spend a lot of time building and it would be nice to maybe play. But it does happen where I open the game, I spend 2 hours in Create a Sim, make my family, and then I have to spend another 2.5 hours building a house because they absolutely can't have an EA, starter home. They've got to have a, Anna approved home. So that's why I kind of don't play The Sims. But yeah, anyway, let's move on to our final bedroom. This is a girls' teens room. I do change the wallpaper in the end. I think I started out thinking it was going to be a child's room, but it was actually quite big. This was just as big as the master bedroom. So I've made it into just a very simplistic girly room. I think we go in with a pink wallpaper, and I put in a vanity, because it's the same kind of vibes as the dresser. It's the same kind of vibes as the rest of the home, where it's got some modern pieces, but some more traditional pieces. Use the same dining chairs that come from the table. And yeah, we've got carpets in the bedrooms, in the kids' rooms. I thought that was quite nice. Sometimes I like to use it. The bed comes from High School Years, along with the bedside lamps, and the ottoman comes from Laundry Day. And of course, I have the bird in the tree wall decal that's been in every build this month. And yeah, all right. So we are now live in game, and we're going to do a bit of a tour. So you head through into the entry, which is this beautiful hallway. And it's got this beautiful tall mirror that comes from Growing Together, into the living space, which then wraps around into a gorgeous U-shaped kitchen and dining. And then from the dining, you have a sliding door that goes outside to, the outside of the property. You wrap around, you have the main downstairs bathroom and the downstairs study. downstairs. It's all one story. Sorry, I don't know why I said downstairs. And then you head to the right of the build. You have a small hallway, and then you have the master bedroom. Really moody and beautiful plum color. I don't normally use purple. A child's room. And lastly, you have that teens bedroom, which again could be an adult space. It could be a master bedroom. It's a really good size. All right, heading back outside, you have a seating area. You have a cards table. You have a chess table. You have a play area, and you have your pool with your entertainment space. I put in a soccer ball as well for the child sim, and yeah, just some very simplistic landscaping. And that is the build today, guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye for now.